Hey everybody, Billboard Chris here in beautiful Brisbane, Australia. I've had quite a day. I'm on a public street. There's a whole bunch of shops back there and a big public square where I went to hang out. I set up my tripod with my phone by a pole so it's out of everyone's way, as I usually do. Also reduces the chance of someone coming and smashing it to the ground. And I was stood by the corner of this city block wide public square, standing, minding my own business, having conversations with people who approached me. A councilman then came and told me that I was obstructing the progress of people who were walking through the square. It's a flat out lie. He then issued me with an $806 fine, which of course I will fight. And upon issuing the fine, he then told me I still had to leave. And I'm not going to leave because I know my rights. We are allowed to have conversations, even in Australia. I don't need a permit to have conversations. I'm not holding a protest. I'm just a man talking to other human beings like we're supposed to do. So then the police came, about 10 police. They told me to leave. I said I'm not leaving. The premise for this man's allegations is false. I said I would like to see this law that he is citing. They eventually printed off a piece of paper and showed me this municipal bylaw which states I may not obstruct people in a mall setting. Again, this is a public street. They all acknowledge it's a public street, and I wasn't obstructing anyone. So I refused to move. The police then gave me more notice, and I could tell they didn't want to arrest me, but we have to live lives of integrity, and I can't, with good conscience, just say, okay, I'm going to bow down to your zealous overuse of authority and do what you are asking me to, because it's wrong. And I don't care if they're police. I don't care if they have a badge. I love the police, but I will not allow people to abuse their authority. So eventually it got to the point where they said either I leave voluntarily or they would physically remove me, which is what they did. They removed me from the public square back there with force. Now, obviously, I'm not going to fight police. I'm not going to resist police force. I let them physically escort me off of the property. And I thought for sure I was getting arrested and going to jail, but they don't want to. I think they understand they're going to have an international incident on their hands. I think they also understand that the councilman was lying and that I'm doing nothing wrong, but they say they need to support him. And what was interesting during this whole exchange was I said, surely there have been other people on this public street at times with signs. And of course there have, all the time. There are thousands and thousands of people walking through there. But they've never done this to anyone. I'm the first. Why? Because my message says children cannot consent to puberty blockers, which is just about the most true message you will ever read or hear in your life. So I want to thank the councilman for the fine. I want to thank the police very much, because if they'd left me alone, I would have just had peaceful conversations. I still would have reached a few million because I've got some good stuff and I'll upload it later. But they've just shown the world that there's one thing you're not allowed to talk about in Australia, and that's protecting kids from irreversible, lifelong physical harm. Puberty blockers combined with cross-sex hormones are sterilizing children, turning them into lifelong pharmaceutical patients forever reliant on some exogenous source of hormones. They are sending teenage girls into menopause because after 4 or 5 years of testosterone, they have to get hysterectomies. They're cutting off the breasts of children. Children with autism, girls who've suffered sexual abuse, with trauma, with borderline personality disorder, parents with borderline personality disorder. Overwhelmingly, these kids have autism. Other progressive countries in the world, even under the Labour government in the UK, they put a stop to this. But Australia is about 5 years behind. And as I was standing there thinking I was about to get arrested and go to jail and face criminal charges, and I asked them repeatedly, and they said, yes, that's what would happen if I refused to move, which I did, I could not in good conscience move because I did nothing wrong. They're lying about what I was doing. The law states I can't obstruct anybody, which I wasn't doing, just as I'm not doing right now. And I'm not going to let these people push me around. And you should stop letting them push you around too, because we're right. So I've got another event to go to right now. I'm going to fight this fine. If you would like to support me, that'd be wonderful. You can donate at billboardchris.com. But I've got all sorts of events coming up. I'll be back in Brisbane tomorrow. I think I'm going to go to the University of Brisbane. I'll probably come back downtown as well. On Wednesday, I'm in Canberra meeting with some politicians. Unlike Canada, there are many politicians in Australia who actually want to speak with me. And Thursday, I'll be in Sydney. No, and Friday, I'll be in Sydney. And then Saturday, I make my way down to Melbourne, where I have a 5-day trial against the Australian government, against the e-safety commissioner, the e-nanny, who ordered one of my posts taken down last year. I appealed their takedown, so did Elon Musk. Our appeals are being combined into one case, and we've got 5 days of court at the Administrative Review Tribunal, March 31st, April 4th in Melbourne. Please come out and support. It's open to the public. I'll try to get it live streamed as well. And keep up the fight, because one conversation at a time, we're going to put a stop to this child abuse. There's no such thing as a transgender child. They're called girls and boys, and they're perfect just as they are. No drugs or scalpels needed.